All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Resolutions Committee meeting for April 22nd at 5 o'clock. So I just sent out an agenda about 2 minutes ago. I apologize for my incorrect numbering of the agenda. If you're looking at it, there's 1, 2, 2, 3. But so my hope is that we can just get a quick update from the subcommittees on how you folks did, if you're done with your work, or if you still need some time. I think you guys gave some updates via email, so I think we're ready to move on most of the work of the subcommittees. And then after that, we will be creating probably one more subcommittee to go through at least the Hawaii County resolutions. But before that, yeah, just for the subcommittees, maybe you can start with Will, and then we'll go to the other Energy and Environment subcommittee on how it went.
Okay, sure. Did you want me to show anything or just
no? I think we'll dive into that when we get it. Just want to make sure if you guys are done with your work, or if you still got more work, or.
Okay, yeah. I think we are done with our work. We were able to make a few changes to a couple of the resolutions, and then there were a couple other ones that we didn't think we could really find anything to tweak, and we'll just have to decide here in the committee if we want to move them forward.
Okay, sounds good. And then Melody or someone from the other committees 1 and 3 want to give an update?
Yes. At the time appropriate, or are you saying now would be the time?
Just right now, just on whether you guys are done, and if we're ready to, we will. If you guys, assuming you're done, then we will go through your resolutions and your recommendations. But I just want to make sure you guys are all good.
Yes, we are done.
Okay. Okay, great. Then for we do want to create one more subcommittee. So I'm a little confused. I saw that we have Hawaii County resolutions. I'm not sure if we have more coming.
Chair, if I may.
Yeah, Michael, please.
We're still waiting on the signatures from Hawaii County. So those aren't before the committee yet. And the other one that was referred to you has been pulled back because the makers redid the work on it and put it at sending it back to platform. If platform accepts it, then it won't be coming back here. So,
okay.
So I don't know when we're gonna get this. I don't know when we're gonna get the signatures from Hawaii County.
Sorry. Somebody trying to talk? Somebody might be accidentally not on mute here. But Michael, so assuming they get their signatures in the next few days, then we can review those. Is that?
So, yeah. As soon as I have the signatures, they will put them in your late folder, and then this body can at your next meeting decide to vote on whether you're going to take them up or not.
Okay, so I did look at the folder, and there is a lot of resolutions in there, some of which I think are duplicates from what we've done now. So it would be great if we could create a subcommittee preemptively in the assumption that they're going to get the signatures done, which can go through those, maybe eliminate anything that's a duplicate, and do some wordsmithing so that at our what might be our final meeting next week, we can blaze through all those. Sound okay to you guys?
I volunteer, Chair, to be in that subcommittee.
Great. We have Vice Chair Ilagan here, which will be on that subcommittee from Hawaii County. Anybody else willing to serve on the Hawaii County Reso subcommittee?
I'd like to serve on that one as well. Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki.
I'd be happy to serve Hawaii County as well.
Great. Thanks, Abby.
Same here.
This is Dale.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was involved. I was on the county resolutions committee and attended the pre-convention where the resolutions were reviewed and approved. So I'm familiar with them.
Great. So we got Michael Zola, and I think Dale, did you volunteer also?
Yep, I'm happy to be on the subcommittee to just provide outside perspective.
Great. That looks like we probably got enough. Anybody else wanting to serve?
Mr. Chair, this is Donna Domingo.
Hi, Donna.
And I'm just a panelist. At this point, that we can assume that it's coming is kind of preempting. You guys work that you have to do according to the rules that's laid out in the standing rules. your work is to review the work you have in front of you folks. And not to presume even having the committee until you have it in its totality, or they may not have their signatures. And so to have a committee, you're not knowing if it's going to even come into you guys' preview, is just preempting the situation.
Yeah, thanks, Donna. And just to clarify, my proposal here is not that the subcommittee start reviewing those and editing them right now. It's so that we can get formed, so that if Hawaii County gets the signatures in the next week, even if it's just on half of those, that the subcommittee is ready to go. The problem is that we're going to get to next week, which is our last scheduled meeting, and if we haven't had the chance to review them, then we will have a lot to do at that final meeting. So so if they don't get the signatures, then the subcommittee will have no work. But if they do get the signatures, we want to be ready to go.
Yeah, I just want to be able to make sure you guys are consistent, because there's other resolutions gonna come, and where you're gonna preempt everything. I think what it is best, but it's up to you, Chair, it's best to take it what's in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. You know, given that there might be objections here, I would like to make a motion then to create that subcommittee, which again won't do any work until they get submitted. But
Chair,
Second that
I'd like to
motion.
join as well,
Okay.
if I may, from the Environmental Caucus.
yeah, you can. Thank you, Melody.
Thank you.
All right, we'll just do a voice vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I
Those opposed?
Aye.
With our harmonious ayes there, sorry, I'll say it again. Those, anybody in opposition? Signify by saying nay. Okay, I think we're good in that subcommittee. Again, no work if we don't get signatures from them. Okay, that said, we can move on to voting on the two from last week that we didn't vote on, which was public financing and progressive taxation. Will, if you could bring those onto our screen.
Yes, give me 1 second. Oops, sorry. Let's see my project I was working on. Okay. So which one did you want to bring up first?
We'll do public financing.
Okay.
So, and Will, so I know there were some issues about possible duplication. If you want to just remind us what the status is on this.
Yeah, so what I did was I went back and looked at some of the other examples of resolutions that we've updated. So for example, there's a few minimum wage resolutions that have been passed over the years, and the update is generally to change in that case to change what the wage level that's being requested is. So most of it stays the same, but there's sort of one factual thing that gets updated. So working with Nate Hicks, the author of this, I sort of tried to give this a bit of an update to try to bring it in order using that same sort of format. And so the main update is, I guess, this, adding this in. And specifically this sort of, beginning with the 2028 cycle. So it's sort of an updated ask. And then beyond that, there's just a couple sort of structural things. Those resolutions generally only refer to the most recent previous resolution. So I figured just strike this out and just refer to the most recent one. Adding this into the title so that there's actually like an ask in the title and it's not just fully publicly financing of campaigns. And then you'll recall that this one did not have an ordered clause, so we added in an ordered clause as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we will have discussion on this first, and then I guess, can move to adopt his amendments. We'll vote on that, and then we'll vote on the main resolution as a whole. So starting with, I know we talked about it already some last week, so we got a lot to do here, so I won't repeat my statements from last week, but any further discussion on public financing here? Okay, Will, you want to make a motion, I guess, for us to approve your amendments
Sure.
here?
Yeah, sure. I will move to adopt this resolution as amended.
And
I think we
unless we already have a second.
um,
Okay, I got it. I see it. Thank you.
Sorry, did you want me to do this a different way?
no, my only thought was vote on the amendment first and then vote on the main resolution. But if they're not hugely substantive, then I think we could just consider them basically tech amendments. And
I agree with Chair. I mean, the fact that we're having to reconsider this vote, I don't think that's a friendly amendment.
so we'll vote on the amendment first, correct? Okay. So Will, if you don't mind just revising that motion to
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll move to accept the amendments.
Yep.
Okay.
then
Is
Melody,
that
if you
still okay with you, Melody, as a second?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Great. Any discussion on the amendments? All right, we will continue with what we were doing last time we'll just note any opposition instead of taking a full roll call vote. So anyone opposed to the amendments? Okay, motion passes. Now on to the main motion, which is the amendment, the resolution as amended. Final discussion. Seeing any opposition to the main motion as amended?
Sorry, just a question. Is this moved and seconded by Melody and I again?
Yes, if you're both good with that,
Yes.
Ellie, you're good?
I am.
Great, thanks for catching that. Any opposition? Seeing none, motion passes and resolution as amended is approved.
I have a question,
Yeah,
a point of
Michael.
clarification. I'm not opposed to it at all, and I'm glad it passed, but what's the understanding here of what we're saying, which is if you're publicly funded, then you cannot take private contributions, and if you have private contributions, then you cannot be publicly funded. It's an either or kind of situation.
So
Oh,
in
Will,
this,
you wanna answer that?
yeah, in this whereas clause that I've highlighted, I think it will answer your question, Michael.
Yeah,
But yeah, in previous versions of the legislation, candidates would have the option, as far as I understood. All right, sorry, unless there's any final discussion on that, we're moving on to progressive taxation. Okay. Any discussion or proposed amendments on the resolution supporting progressive taxation policies? Okay, everybody ready to vote here?
Hmm.
Are there any, oh, sorry, go on, Will.
Should I move to adopt?
Yes, please.
I move to adopt the progressive taxation resolution.
Wait a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Melody. So voting on the resolution, is there anybody who wishes to vote no or in opposition? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to the work of the committees. So supporting continuous monitoring of toxic chemicals released by landfills and waste incinerators from the PFAS subcommittee.
Thank you, Chair. Did you receive our report?
I did. I really appreciate you doing that. Yeah. And so are the did you make the amendments in here or they're separate? Okay.
Yes, they would be in a separate folder. Will, are you able to get to the separate folder?
I don't know. Did you share it with me?
Well, it should be, anyway, you should be able to connect based on our report, which I did send out.
Yeah, it's right there.
So this is this the right one?
Yes, that is. That's a PDF copy, so I hope the links.
Yeah, they are. You just got to tell me which one to click. Is it this
Okay.
one?
Yeah, well, let's start with the first one. Yeah, they're specific. Uh-oh. Sorry, if you go back to the report, then it would, yeah, go straight to the bottom on one. Oh, you're past.
Sorry, what am I? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. I'm trying to find a folder, right? Is this the right one?
Well, each amendment has its own link. So if we go on one, which is urging construction, yeah, that link
Okay,
will go straight to. Okay, so this one, actually, there's no significant changes.
So Melody, you're gonna have to give me editing access though, otherwise I won't be able to scribe.
Okay, I'm not sure how, oh, how do I do that?
You should be able to just approve it in your email right now, Melody.
In my email?
Yeah, you should have gotten an email notification with Will's request for editing access.
Okay. Hang on, then let me try to reach that on my second laptop.
But in the meantime, if everybody wants to kind of read through this, so Melody, just so I'm clear, this document that
Yeah.
we're gonna be filling up here, these have been amended by you, right?
Has been amended
By
by
the committee.
subject
Yeah.
committee, yes. Yes.
But we can't see the individual amendments.
Hopefully that's because I don't have editing access yet.
Okay, I'm trying to find that on the email. Submissions committee, and it is not, I'm not seeing anything coming up, Will.
Can you check your updates folder? If you have an updates folder set up in Gmail, it might have gone there.
Sorry, I'm not as detailed as that. Could it have gone maybe to promotions or something to that effect?
Sorry, what we will, and Melody, let me know if this would sound okay, because Melody, you laid out all of your amendments in that document you sent us in the email. Maybe we could just go through
Yes,
your
that would be fine.
suggestions
Yes,
one at a time.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So regarding the first one, urging construction and operation of public environmental toxins lab in Hawaii, there were no significant changes on this one. So moving on, number two, urging state.
Oh, sorry, hold on. If we can, we'll just go one at a time. So if you want to.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Oh, why? You got it?
It's well, we can see the changes. I still don't have editing access, but we can see the changes. It was because that other one had no significant changes, right? Just this
yeah,
one period.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, this one, state agencies that monitor pollution levels, looks like we've got changes.
So let's go, if you don't mind, we can just vote one at a time. So we can just start with the first one, urging construction, no amendments. Any, so, yeah, since there's no amendments here, any discussion or proposed amendments from the committee here?
Do I move? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, then I move that we have adopted, that we adopt the changes on the first one, urging construction and operation of public environmental toxins lab in Hawaii. And there was no significant changes.
Okay, we have a second?
I'll second.
Was that Dale?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any further discussion on this resolution as unamended? All right, seeing none, anybody in opposition? Resolution passes. Thank you, subcommittee, for your work. Next one, urging state agencies that monitor pollution levels to adopt more transparent procedures. It looks like there are a handful of amendments here, which, Melody, if you want to just walk us through these real fast.
Yes, we added an additional whereas, and it reads, whereas to protect vulnerable populations such as keiki kupuna and those with existing health problems, It is standard to test a safety margin of 1 to 2 orders of magnitude, and in parentheses 10 to 100 times between the allowable limit on a chemical and the level at which health effects have been found. So this is a bit technical. I don't know if anyone has any questions to try to explain this, but the committee has approved this amendment in that it is more detailed and it does apply to those that are more vulnerable, where we would feel that a safety margin of 1 to 2 orders of magnitude would be in the best interest of the public. I do have Mike Ewall, who is our expert in this area, if anyone would like further explanation.
Any discussion or questions?
I don't have a question about the content, but it does appear to be on 2 pages now. Is there?
Yeah.
I can maybe try to put this in a header, which might save us space if that's okay with folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I try that?
Yep. You just need a smidge.
Yeah, Michael. Good question.
This is way over my pay grade here. So is there some way, if I have any questions or just want to communicate directly with the expert, I could get his contact information?
Sure, of course. Would you like a phone number or an email?
Yeah, email sounds good. If you could just shoot it to me.
Okay, that would be mike@energyjustice.net.
Yeah, he attended the pre-convention for Hawaii County resolutions and actually proposed several that are coming from Hawaii County. Very impressive guy. But can you also send me his spelling of his last name, because I don't know it?
Yes,
Okay.
spelling of his last name is Ewall, Ewall.
Okay.
Did you
Okay.
want his phone number, or are you good with that?
Yeah, okay. Might as well send me the whole contact info.
Sorry, Mel, I
Please,
don't mean to interrupt, but maybe if you guys want to follow up by email, Melody, you could provide all the contact information by email. It'd be great.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes. Who is that speaking, Michael?
It's Michael Goloyu. Can I remind everybody, this is being recorded and will be broadcast live across YouTube. So please do not give out phone numbers and email addresses moving forward unless you have the person's permission to do so, because everybody's going to hear that email address now. So just a reminder as we're moving forward. Mahalo.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you,
Okay,
Michael.
so let's move on. We're going to vote on the amendment and then we'll vote on the main resolution after. Melody, do you want to
Yes.
move to adopt your amendment?
Well, do you want me to do it? Because there is another amendment on the same resolution.
Yeah, if you want to maybe talk that through fast, and then we can, if you want to move to adopt both at the same time, I think would be great. But
Yes, that'll be good. So on the resolution, point number 1, we've changed it to add triggering mechanisms so that there was something that would trigger best practices with the safety margin, as I had indicated before, of at least an order of magnitude below where health effects have been found in studies. So this has been added so that it would coincide with that whereas that we have added to it.
great, thank you. Any discussion or questions on the amendments proposed?
Yeah.
Oh, Michael, you have a question?
Yeah. My question is, again, because of the high technical level of expertise involved in this resolution, will Mike Ewall be available at the convention for questions from the floor about the expertise involved?
He will not be physically at the Hilton. However, he will be available online. Would that suffice? I mean, he is on island now. If you would like to talk to him now, then that would be fine as well.
No, it's not me personally, but I'm just anticipating that if I'm thinking it's highly technical, there probably will be other people who will want to get some backup information. And at the pre-convention I just attended in Hawaii County, he was there to answer questions. So that was very helpful.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Michael. Hopefully, you and him can touch base after and answer any questions that you have, but we got to keep this agenda moving here. So any further discussions on the amendment? Seeing none, Melody, you want to move to
Yes.
approve as, sorry,
Yes.
move to amend as circulated.
Yes, I would like to move to amend and, move to adopt the amendments that were suggested by committee number 1 on PFAS regarding urging state agencies to monitor pollution levels to adopt more transparent procedures.
And this is Dale, I'll second that.
Great,
Second.
thank you. All right, anybody in opposition to the amendment proposed? All right, seeing none, we will move to vote on the main motion, which is the resolution as amended. Can we get a motion in a second?
I move to adopt the resolution as amended.
Thanks.
And this is Dale, I'll second that.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you both. Anybody in opposition? Nope. Unanimous. Great. Thank you guys. Moving on to the third resolution, which has a proposed title change, but requesting the governor to convene a working group to plan for the cleanup of PFAS on state lands and waters and to protect public health and the environment. Melody, do you want to give us an update on your folks' proposed amendments?
Yes, thank you very much. On this one, there was a suggestion by co-chair Luke that there are 3 PFAS resolutions that have very similar whereas clauses. And I just wanted to let this committee know that as a member of the Oahu Resolutions Committee, it was purposeful to do that so that there would be consistency. However, seeing that, and of course, rightly so, that co-chair Luke would like to see a consolidation, we went ahead and consolidated all 3. So the base resolution that we used was the working group resolution. So that one, it reads requesting the governor. We deleted the word office of the governor or office of the and tried to eliminate some wording there. So it now reads requesting the governor to convene a working group to plan for the cleanup of perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, on state lands and waters and to protect public health and environment. So the first thing we did then is add under title. Under title, we've got the Oahu also added microplastics and heavy metals. So actually that does need to be amended, it appears, because we did include that, we did not delete that. And the second point of the whereas, consuming produce contaminated with PFAS. So do you see that? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th line, 5th whereas, PFAS, microplastics, and heavy metals. And then the next one, we added in order to consolidate with another resolution that included wastewater treatment facilities being tested for PFAS for its reclaimed water and sludge. So we added that, whereas reclaimed water and sludge. And then we also added how it will adversely affect both the environment, marine ecosystems, and human health. Okay, and then we added the amendment, another whereas clause. Whereas the state of Maine has banned the land application of sewage sludge due to permanent contamination of farmlands with PFAS, and there is a decades-long history of harm to health from infectious diseases and toxic chemicals when using sewage sludge as fertilizer or soil amendment. So we added that to show that there is precedence in not using using sewer sludge as fertilizer. And finally, on E, or regarding the resolve clause, which ends up consolidating all three into this resolution, we added number 3, require wastewater treatment facilities to test reclaimed water and sewage sludge for the presence of PFAS, microplastics, and heavy metals to ensure the safety of the reclaimed water, as well as number 6, establish a PFAS testing grant program that would assist local communities, businesses, and residents of the state to obtain sampling and testing services for PFAS, microplastics, and heavy metals detection, and number 7. And then finally, we added under ordered, instead of just saying Director of Health, it would be Director of the Department of Health.
Okay, great. Thank you. And just, I know there's some hands up already, but so just to be clear, you are recommending these changes and then also recommending that the next 2 resolutions, the PFAS testing grant program and the testing of wastewater treatment facilities, that we then can not approve those resolutions because they're joined into here. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you for doing the hard work of consolidating those. And then, sorry, one more question here, maybe for Michael or for Will. Are we okay within the word count here for?
It looks like it fits on one page, so I think we should be okay, yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry, we got 2 questions coming, Michael and then Jeannie. Michael Zola, did you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, Jeannie?
Well, can you scroll down to the resolve clause, please? So my suggestion is that that the Democratic Party urges the governor. So make that match all the others.
Yes.
And take out office of the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we can consider that a tech amendment. Any other discussion or questions before we vote on this amendment? Seeing none, can we get a motion then to amend as in front of us here?
I will move to adopt this resolution as amended.
This is Lisa Howlett Andrews. I second.
All right, we'll take the vote on the amendment first and then vote on the resolution as amended.
Okay, then I move to adopt the amendments to this resolution.
Second.
And thank you. All right, anybody in opposition? Seeing none, the amendment passes. Now on to the main motion, which we already got a motion in a second, Melody and Lisa, so which is approval of the resolution as amended. Is there any opposition? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Chair,
On that, yeah, great.
I think mark the presence of Lisa Martin. I didn't see her name in the vote column.
Is it Lisa Martin or Lisa Hallett that's here? Are they both here now? I know Lisa Hallett is here.
I'm here as well.
Oh,
I started
good.
out on my cell phone while I was driving home, and then I switched to my computer about 5 minutes ago. But I've been here since the first vote.
Got it. No problem.
All right. Thanks, Gregor, for catching that. Thanks, Lisa and Will. So it looks like then our next motion would be to reject or receive, urging the Department of Health and University of Hawaii to establish a PFAS testing grant program. So we would be voting here not to include that in our recommendations.
Chair,
because-
could we
Yeah.
just not take them up?
I don't know procedurally. Michael Gululuji. Which is last name, but yeah, what do we do if we're going to table this?
Yeah, you just don't bring them up. They don't get put in the report, so nobody can pull them out.
Okay, great. Thanks, Will, and thanks, Michael. All right, so we're going to table or receive numbers 4 and 5 by not voting on them, and then on to urging the creation of a comprehensive strategy to prevent and mitigate catastrophic wildfires.
Shoot, sorry. Is this one? Okay, there we go.
So does somebody from the third committee want to brief us on your amendments here?
I can go ahead and do that, co-chair.
Okay, please do.
This one is fairly simple. Okay, if we look at the first amendment where we added the words, well, let's see, requiring the power lines in new subdivisions to be buried or safely placed at ground level rather than strung above ground on utility poles. And we added the words or safely placed at ground level as at the request of those that are on the west side of the island of Oahu, because that is a concern that if it is at least at ground level, if not buried, then it would, of course, alleviate worst risk of catastrophic wildfires. And then as for the second amendment, all we did was eliminate some language, basically for clarification. So it should now read, establishing a fully staffed emergency management agency, period. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to make a motion to adopt amendments of this resolution.
This is Lynn, I second.
Okay, thanks, Gregor and Lynn. Quick question on that amendment. On the placing of the lines at ground level, is that a practice that's actually done? I'm just not aware of power lines getting placed on the ground.
They don't place them they put them in tubes on the ground. I've never heard of it being done in a subdivision, but they'll do that. Like California started doing that. It's cheaper than burying lines, and that it through natural areas. In order to reduce their wildfire list, they basically have been laying them on top of the ground, but I don't know about in populated areas.
Okay, yeah, I would have concerns that putting power lines at ground level in a subdivision where people are driving, et cetera, could lead to some issues. But if that was a recommendation of the committee, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, this is Dale. Just to add on to that we did add the or clause there, just to say that it doesn't have to be at ground level. It could be buried if that's a preferable option.
Yep.
Thank you, Dale.
Thanks, Dale. Any other discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, anybody opposed to the amendments? All right, amendments pass. On to the main motion or the main reso as amended. Can we get a motion to approve the reso as amended?
So move.
I'll second, Lynn.
Great, Gregor and Lynn, thank you very much. Any discussion on the main motion? Any opposition? Seeing none, amended resolution passes. Thank you. Where are we at? Next, urging the Hawaii State Legislature to eliminate biomass from the renewable portfolio standard. Are there any amendments? Looks like maybe some tech amendments.
Yes, there is an amendment, Chair. If right there in the red, we added the language. Let's see, let me just read it. Whereas biomass and biofuels are among the most expensive power sources, even compared to solar, wind, and energy storage, which are becoming more of the cheapest power sources and are better to develop on existing structures rather than siting infrastructure on agricultural land. This amendment stems from, again, the request of those on the west side on the island of Oahu. Those on the west side are already taxed with having Waimanalo Gulch and H Power and PVT construction and demolition waste landfill. And now there is also plans of being major siting for solar. So this language was at the request to make sure that if there is going to be a major siting of new infrastructure of solar panels, that such will not be sited on potential or what has already been zoned as agricultural lands.
Just to add on to what Melody was saying, we did add that whereas section in there because the resolve clause also mentioned it, which was not mentioned in previous whereas clauses. So we felt it'd be better to add language into the whereas's clauses if it's mentioned in the resolve clause.
Yes,
thank
that's correct. For consistency, we did include that.
Chair, before we make a motion to adopt the amendments, can we make a motion for the main motion? Because I want to speak on the entire resolution.
Yeah, yes, so can we get a motion to approve the main motion, and then we'll, once discussion is open on the main motion, we'll move into the amendment.
So we're just doing the reverse of what we normally do.
Yeah, we'll do just at least open discussion on the main resolution. We won't take a vote until after it's amended, but yeah. So
Okay. So
Sure.
is it a motion or is it just discussion?
it'll be a motion to approve it, which would open at least the floor for discussion on the main, instead of having the discussion narrowly tailored to the amendment, we'll have discussion on the main resolution, and then we'll talk about the amendments. But so Gregor, you want to move to
adopt the resolution?
you have a second?
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so a discussion then on the main resolution.
Chair.
Yeah. Go on.
So regarding biomass, I am in favor of adopting all renewable energy sources. I think what we need to caution by eliminating a single renewable source is that we live on an island and we need to be 100% secure with where we're going to be able to draw our energy, and removing one of the tools that we would consider, even if that tool is expensive, I don't think is the right way to move forward. I can support this resolution if it says once we are 100% renewable as a state, then we can start mitigating the more expensive renewable source. But if we start taking away the renewable sources that is available to us, I think that will jeopardize our security in energy. And we need to be able to be 100% renewable and then focus on figuring out how to make that renewable source cheaper and more affordable for our residents. But at this time, I live in Puna, and there's a geothermal resource that's in Puna. And when the lava flow happened, that took out the geothermal resource. And that affected the whole entire grid, even though geothermal is a very cheap electricity generation. Just the fact that it got taken out. We can't rely on just cheap energy. We need to have all the renewable sources available to us. So with that said, I'm going to stand in opposition of this resolution because I believe that we need to consider all our renewable portfolio. And maybe what we could support is more diverting bio waste and reusing that and repurpose biomass instead of totally eliminating it out of our portfolio. Thank you.
Thanks, Traeger. Further discussion on the main motion, the resolution. Lisa, and then Melody. Lisa Hallett, yep.
Hi. It doesn't remove any sources. They'd still exist, but they could not count as renewable. In other words, it speeds up development of clean sources that don't involve burning. It also doesn't touch geothermal, and geothermal is not cheap. It's one of the most expensive sources according to the Energy Information Administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Melody.
Thank you, co-chair. Yeah, I would just like to also reiterate what Lisa Hallett has indicated. This does not remove those that are currently operating, such as H Power and also an incinerator on the county of Kauai. But what it does is not count those sources of energy towards a renewable energy portfolio standard. However, not counting giving the pre-existing incinerators does not affect the thresholds that they have to meet in order to be 100% renewable by 2045. Both H Power as well as the incinerator on Kauai, they are well within those benchmarks that they should be meeting. So eliminating biomass out of the renewable portfolio standard will not affect the pre-existing operations. And as Lisa has indicated, this does not affect the Puna geothermal as it stands. So with that, that is our argument that we request a positive vote from the committee.
Thanks, Melody. Michael Zola.
Hi, so I'm speaking in favor of passing the resolution. This same resolution was discussed with the same concerns for Hawaii County's resolutions committee. And that's when Mike Ewald made a very persuasive presentation about the negative environmental impact that biomass has on pollution. I believe what he said was that burning wood is 10 times more a pollutant than burning coal. And that was impressive to me. And also, I mean, I think what I'm trying to say is that it would be nice to have Mike Ewald speak on these issues rather than not be, I don't know when he's available or whether we can call on him, but he's clearly 30 years committed to environmental studies and deeply knowledgeable about all of these issues. Has facts and fingers at his, facts and at his fingertips. And so anyway, I had my doubts until I heard him speak about it, and then I was in favor of this resolution. And that also brings up a side question, which is we don't have to discuss now, but it looks like we're going to get duplicate resolutions when Hawaii County resolutions come in, and then we have to kind of consolidate them all. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Michael. Lynn?
Hi, thank you, Chair. I'm not speaking before against, maybe it's just like a point of clarification or okay. My concern would be relying on one source for some of this data that is purported in the not that anyone is doing anything nefarious, but if we're getting into one person being an expert, I think that could be problematic. So my hope is that there's credible sources that can be cited. I know that some of when we did in our defense resos, that there were very helpful citations to support some of these claims when we're talking about asthma attacks and learning disabilities and acid rain. As someone who lives on the west side, I'm not familiar with people that are suffering or that we've had ongoing issues with health or morbidity of any kind on this side. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but since I am part of the committee, just want to say that my concerns would be putting all this forward without credible sources and multiple sources cited. Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn.
If I may, I believe Mike Ewald is available, if I can call a friend, so to speak.
Melody, if I may, that's my concern. If he has credible, if he's got multiple sources where he pulls his data from, it would be helpful at some point for him to share that with whomever. But counting on him to be the singular expert on this issue probably is not, the best path forward, in my opinion. That's not to say I'm against the resolution. I'm just saying to make it credible, feasible, and moving forward, going to a full body at the state convention, multiple sources to back up the data that's in here is going to be hugely helpful.
Well, hold on.
Chair, may I just add this piece, is that there is a cited version of this. Thank you.
And we do have multiple sources. So thank you very much, Lynn, for that recommendation.
The cited version, is that what you just put in the chat, which doesn't seem to give me much right now. Okay. So if there is a cited version, Lynn, if we get access to that very shortly, would be great. I was going to make a recommendation to defer this for the next meeting, but if there is a cited version, would be good to review it right now, and we'll go on with the discussion and then get to a vote eventually here. Jeannie.
Thank you. One of the things I wanted to say about that is at the Oahu Resolutions Committee, we had people who live on the west side who did mention illnesses and health effects of what's going on over there with the different types of burning, etc. So it wasn't just scientific, right? There are people who actually are concerned because they live in that community. The other thing I wanted to say is I don't think the focus of this resolution is on the cost of doing business, right? So I think the focus is that whereas clause that says removing biomass and biofuels from the state RPS law's definition of renewable energy will encourage HECO and KIUC to develop clean, non-combustion renewables sooner in order to. So I think that should be like what the focus of, and rather than, well, it's not going to be the cheapest, it's not going to be, what we're interested in is doing as much as we can now to not create additional pollution. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeannie. Dale?
Yeah, so while I am in favor of this resolution, I would just like to share Lynn's concerns of having just one expert speak for all the data that's on here. And I would just like to add one other thing to that, and to say that the data that is provided by that source should not specifically be from the group that they work with. It should be governmental or non-affiliated sources that are reliable.
Okay, thank you, Dale. Lisa Hallett for a second time. Lisa, did you have another comment to make? All right, Gregor for a second time.
Thanks, Chair. I do want to mention that it doesn't look like I'm able to present this link, but on the chat, on the Hawaii State Energy profile, it's the U.S. Energy Information Administration. It has Oahu having a 120 megawatt site on biofuels. If you go down to renewable energy, and what my main point is, let's keep all our renewable energy options. That's really what I'm trying to say. Let's get to 100% renewable, and then let's look into diverting away from some of these options for a better, more affordable cost. That's what I'm trying to convey, is that, well, if you go down, keep going down, all the way down to renewable energy, right there, stop. Oh, you missed it. So what I'm trying to point out is we're not even there to 100% renewable, and our goal is 2045. By eliminating our options, we're putting ourselves in not in the best situation to reach our goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregor. Melody, then Lisa Hallett for a second time.
Thank you, co-chair. In the chat, there is a attachment that would indicate all of the, or most of the, I guess the sites as to where we came up with these whereas clauses. And I do also want to say that as the environmental caucus, we have gone out to the west side and we met with the chair of the Makakilo Kapolei I forgot Hale, but that would be DPH member Makana Paris. And he is the chair of that part of the island. And we really feel the sentiment that he shares, because it is a very depressed side of the island. And so a lot of our resolutions are, again, consistent with their feelings with regards to H-Power and Waimanalo Gulch. And we spoke to many of the community members in that west side, and the feeling is that their life expectancy is now, as a result, decreased by 10 years. And when we're dealing with H-Power, for example, just incinerating waste, although the waste could go in as non-toxic, by the time it is being incinerated, it comes out as toxic, highly toxic emissions, which we don't see. And that's the problem. If we don't see it, then we don't feel that it is there. However, those toxic emissions, such as dioxins and furans, are the most toxic chemicals known to science. So unfortunately, we need to really take care of the community on the west side. And we feel that eliminating biomass from the renewable portfolio standard is a step forward in not condoning further, as I had mentioned earlier, pre-existing incinerators are not at risk, but this resolution would move towards any further incineration waste to energy plants, biomass to energy plants that are in the development because of the adverse environmental effects that burning and incineration causes on the neighboring communities. Thank you.
Thanks, Melody. Lisa Howlett, and then we'll.
Okay, sorry, I had a trouble with my buttons here, unmuting. So the sources are from reliable governmental sources primarily. And it's the work is by Mike Ewall, and all the citing, it's governmental and academic sources. And to get to quote more affordable costs, end quote, quicker by avoiding the combustion sources, which cost more. That would be the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, I will say that I agree with Gregor and that I have concerns over the language here. If this was focused on removing trash incineration from the definition of biomass, I would be strongly supportive. And then I think most of the whereas statements there support, accurately so, why trash should not be burned in Hawaii as a long-term solution. My concern with removing biomass in general, though, is that on islands with limited renewable capacity, Kauai, for example, we cannot put any wind turbines in because of birds. We are entirely reliant on hydro, of which we have pretty limited capacity, and solar. And so to get to 100% renewable, we need some component of biomass. And if we don't, then the redundancy needed in the grid of PV would just be enormous to get us through rainy days, consuming large amounts of land. And at incredible cost to ratepayers. Whereas if you have some small, biomass capacity that can be used as a peaker plant when necessary, when cloudy for a few days, then that's an incredible cost savings. And I think environmentally probably better too. We don't want huge duplication of battery capacity and PV capacity. So yeah, I will not be supporting the resolution for those reasons. Though I would hope maybe maybe next time around we can have a resolution to support removing trash from the definition of biomass. Further discussion. All right, so we're gonna Lisa, you went twice, but which I will say you can speak twice for 3 minutes, but if you could just speak, real quick here.
Okay, I was just curious. You're on Oahu? Is that what you said?
I live on Kauai. I'm on Oahu currently, but I'm from Kauai.
So, are you saying Kauai doesn't allow wind generators?
No. Well, the permitting to do that would be extremely difficult because you'd be taking so many seabirds that that would be costly to try and make it work. So for all practical purposes, wind energy is impossible to do at a utility scale on Kauai. Yeah.
Well, even if we removed the biomass incineration there, which is green waste, there, that isn't the case here. We're not trying to do that. So this wouldn't affect the one that you have permitted in place.
No, and I recognize that, but going forward, the utilities plan is to have 20% of energy capacity or so come from some form of biomass, which would be an expansion. Not necessarily of the current facility, but because I think we recognize we don't want to be planting more trees, but of some type of sunflower oil or generating energy from plants at some capacity. And I will say the current biomass plant on Kauai replaced an oil burning boiler, which was literally burning used motor oil on Kauai. So it's certainly been an environmental boon to have that.
Unfortunately, with the way the laws are, it comes out that the biomass is dirtier burning.
That's certainly not the case compared to our oil burning generator in Kauai. We can get into that later. Will, you have a further a comment? You're
I
on
was
mute.
just gonna remind us that we're almost nearing the end of our meeting, and I suggest that we get moving on this.
Yep, so that we will go back to it, the vote for the amendment. So someone wants to make a motion to approve the amendments to the resolution.
I believe Gregor and, oh wait, sorry, that was for the.
That was on the main.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution amendments.
And I will second.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to the amendments to the resolution? Seeing none, the amendments pass, and now back to the main motion as amended, noting the objections of myself and co-chair Ilagan. Is there anyone else voting no on this resolution?
I'm gonna vote no on this. This is Nikki.
Nikki, okay.
This is Lynn. I'm gonna vote no as well.
May Mizuno, no.
So,
Darrell Pruitt,
Chair,
no.
Chair, I think we're gonna have to do a different system because there's no way I'm gonna be able to keep up with all of these voice no's.
Okay, let's do a roll call, and I'm gonna go down my list here. So Nikki, we got your no.
Chair, before you just begin the point of order, Bill South needs to be removed from the meeting. He unfortunately didn't do the training or register as required by the standing rules. So for the next meeting, he can be there as long as he registers and does the training. And we've sent him multiple emails on this. This is something that we are not allowed to, as you know, the standing rules are something that I can't change, and we need to stick to them. Mahalo.
Oh, I misunderstood. Sorry, Michael. I had
No, Bill, I've
assumed
sent
that-
you multiple, Bill, sorry, we're not going to discuss, you can call me and we can talk about it. But Will, can you please remove Bill South from the meeting? Mahalo.
Can he stay on and not vote?
We all we're doing is taking this vote, and then we're adjourning. So Bill, if you could remove yourself from the meeting, and then we can take the vote. Thank you. Okay, so let's go for a roll call vote. We have May Mizuno voted no. Darrell Lee.
No.
Sorry, wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry. I see your Excel sheet. I'll just go down your list here. Sorry. Starting with Abby.
I vote yes.
Dale.
Yes.
Darrell Lee, no.
No.
Gregor.
No.
Jeannie. Jeannie may not be here anymore. Lisa
Yes.
Hallett. Oh, sorry, Jeannie.
Yes.
Jeannie, both, yes.
Yes, both of us. Yes,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Lisa Martin.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Luke will vote no. Lynn.
No.
May voted no. Melody.
Yes.
Michael Zola.
Yes.
Nikki Watts voted no. And Will.
I vote yes.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes.
Thank you.
9 yeses and 7 no's.
Okay, resolution passes, and we are out of time. And at next week, we're gonna have to add another meeting to our final week. So we'll coordinate that via email. But seeing no further business and hearing no objections, this meeting is now
Chair,
adjourned.
before you adjourn, may I?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, please.
Okay, quick reminder, do not share your link, your Zoom link with anybody. It is tied to you and you alone. You cannot change your names. It shows up as the other person. People, you all went through the training, you all did the registration, and you all paid to be here. And we thank you for that. So please do not share your links. The other thing, if you did not see it, we're doing a briefing on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Understanding securing your vote for the state convention. This is a presidential year. Things are different this time than they've ever been before with the new rules coming out of the DNC. So we want to make sure everybody that can vote does vote and they get all their stuff in, and so everybody understands the differences between everything. So if you can't make that at 6 p.m., we will record it. It'll be up at our train on the same YouTube channel that you're going to find this this recording later today. If you know of any of your friends that have registered, that are delegates that have not registered, tell them to do so. Time is running out. If you want to run for party offices, that deadline is this Saturday. The deadline to get in your voter support form is May 2nd. And we have new things up on the website. Please check out our candidates. Those pages have expanded, and we have a skeleton schedule up there as well. So check out dphconvention.com and please spread the word. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Any final comments before we adjourn? All right, now, seeing no further business, this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you all so much for your time, especially the subcommittees. Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Mahalo, everyone.
If I may ask, what happens with those resolutions that are now coming in from the other counties?
We have to, once they get signatures, if they're Hawaii County ones, they'll get delegated to the other subcommittee we just made. If not, we'll discuss them next week, Monday, and we'll have one more meeting after that to figure out what to do with whatever we got left.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Got it.
Thank you, Melody.
Excuse me, Chair. This Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
When you said subcommittees we just made, does that mean the three subcommittees we made in the first meeting or another set of subcommittees?
Sorry, we just made one new subcommittee at the beginning of this meeting. So we have a sort of a Hawaii County focus subcommittee for the resolutions expected to come from there if they come.
Could you include my name, please?
Yep, we will do so. Will, could you add that?
Yep.
All right, now
Lisa Hallett, I sent you the committee sent you an email. Could you please respond?
I'm sorry. Could you say that again? I couldn't hear you.
Lisa Hallett, is this Lisa Hallett Andrews or Lisa Andrew Hallett?
Yeah.
We sent you, yes, could you please, I sent you a email. Could you check for your email box for 2024 CONV at hawaiidemocrats.org? We have an email to you that we do need to get some clarification on. So thank you.
Okay, I'll look for it. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.